sale of $106,350. Just think about that, Derek.
Oh gosh, that's a lot of money. But then again, it's a 9.9. You don't come across you didn't used to come across those too often, but I don't know if you've seen the news, but CGC is now giving away a lot, not giving away, but granting a lot more 9.9s than they used to. So I would I would suspect, Mike, that this price might not be as high in the future just because 9.9s might not be as rare as previous.
Understandable. And I guess with the recent drop in the market here, it'll take a few years for us to get back up to sales like this. But Tomb of Dracula 10, I mean, 1970 or so, 73. That's a pretty good grade right there.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
an incredible grade for a Silver Age book for all intents and purposes.
yeah.
Um,
It's a time machine grade.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Hopefully,
happy to have this in my collection. It's not a 9.9, but at these prices, does it really matter?
yeah. Well, right now, this book is actually a lot more affordable than it was during the pandemic. If you go
Yeah.
out there, I'm sure you can get a low grade under 500 in recent years. I want to say 9.8 recently sold for around $20,000. So, given a $80,000 price difference from the all-time high, that's a significant drop in value. So, get
One of
out
the things you
there.
mentioned, Mike, was that a drop in the market. Is that something that you attribute to the market sort of correcting itself based on what happened during the pandemic, or what?
It's definitely a market correction. We were in all-time inflated prices. It wasn't healthy for the industry at all. A lot of that you can contribute to all the extra stimulus checks people had, the downtime where you didn't have anything else to do, so you could spend extra money on the hobby. So you got a lot of more people that came into collectibles and this buying space that were inflating the price tremendously, especially with all the Marvel movies, DC movies that were coming out. Got a lot of new fans. That market was definitely doomed to fail eventually. So uh, I recall looking at this book probably around 2017, 2019. There was a 9.8 copy on CGC for around 17 grand. And
Hmm.
one just sold, like I said, a few days ago for 20 grand. So if you look at it in that perspective, that's a more realistic growth right there. Slow and steady. If you look at that in a 10 to 20-year growth pattern, you'll have a lot more room to grow. So this is a book I definitely will recommend adding for any collector out there. First appearance of Blade.
There
Um,
we go.
Tons of fans from the movies all the way back to the Western movies, and hopefully the new run keeps the line going. So
So, Mike, two things quickly. First of all, I noticed we have a lot of the Black Comic Lords listeners who are watchers who have joined us. So, thanks to you all. James, good evening. Gordon, good evening. Bat Boy or Bot Boy versus, good evening. Half Dead Customs, how's it going? And also, if you haven't already done so, we were actually streaming from the Super Slabs channel this evening, and then we're simulcasting onto Black Comic Lords as well. So take a minute out, go to Super Slabs Comics on YouTube, and make sure you like and subscribe to Mike's channel.
hey, I appreciate y'all taking the time to help me grow this page, and everyone that's out there listening in. Please like and subscribe. We try to bring you more content like this. See how we can keep it moving.
Yeah, and Mike, one other question. I see we started with number one, but you want to start? You're gonna go back to number 10 first and work our way
Yeah,
back to two.
let's go ahead and work our way backwards. Actually.
All right. Okay. Let me get us to the end. All right. Here we go.
All right, coming in at number 10, we got All Negro Comics. It's actually a CGC 7.5 Heritage auction on November 16th, 2017, with a record sale of $14,340. This book is on everybody's list. Everybody wants it. Nobody can find it. Not many of us can afford it either, but this is definitely a great sale. Coming in, I think it was 1945. So for a 7.5 on it, that's a beautiful gray right there.
Yeah.
A record sale, that's on 9.8.
No,
It's actually a 7.5. That's just an error right there on the typo.
Oh, okay.
But the record grade on this one is a 7.5. So um, not sure the highest grade out there, or if it was sold anytime recently. But I definitely see this one getting knocked down a peg or two eventually.
That still seems like really low on a book that's so rare.
I would say not a lot of these were sold during the pandemic when we were seeing those all-time high prices. We did see a couple of them in lower grades, and they sold for a pretty good chunk of change. I want to say around like 9,000 or so. So overall, I think almost an average of 15,000 for a book that with a name as such like that many mainstream collectors don't tend to seek. I think that's a pretty strong price right there.
So, do you think if another 7.5 came up for auction now, would it sell for more than this or less than this?
I think currently with the way the market is, anything that sells right now, I think is going to trend a little lower than years past. But like I said, books that were selling in 2017 have grown, so I could see this one going for around 17 to 18,000 around now if this was the resale right now.
But this would categorize. But this was a golden age, and it's a tough to find golden age as well. Those have held their value better than like the moderns and bronzes, right?
Yes, and this also is the only golden age that made the top 10. So that's a good testament
Mhm.
to some of these books still holding strong. And as far as I know, I don't think there's a higher grade. There might be, but give it some time. I think this one will grow because if you look down the comments right now, I mean, you see enough people saying, "Hey, they want this book." Everyone I know, I want this book. Um, it's just a tough one to get right here. So
Yeah. Once again, there's just a little typo in the page. This is 7.5, not a 9.8.
yeah,
All right. Next one.
yeah. Let's work our way down. Right here, we got Paul's favorite book right here. So at number 9, we got Green Lantern 87 coming in at a CGC 9.8. Sold on the Heritage auction in January 15th, 2023 for a record sale of $10,500. This one right here does not include the buyer's premium. So it actually sold for about 20% more. Definitely a book that I would love to get my hands on. It's on my want list. If you go ahead and check out the Super Slabs page and the interview with Ernie Faison, you'll see he has a beautiful white page copy. Probably one of the only people I know personally that has one. Just a few weeks ago, actually, a 9.8 sold for on Heritage as well for about 7,700. So a little dip, but like I said, this grade was during the pandemic, so obviously you see a significant little drop there, of course.
Man, this is look, this is DC's preeminent black superhero. I mean, is there a superhero above John Stewart at DC that either one of y'all guys can think of?
I can't think of nobody. I think with all the Green Lantern fans out there and all the Justice League fans, especially with the animated series, I think John Stewart is the Green Lantern of Green Lanterns now.
This is, for all intents and purposes, DC's Fantastic Four 52.
I agree.
This is a must-have.
I definitely think you can find this book in a pretty affordable price in raw low grade.
Yeah,
$200-300 probably for a low raw grade, and this is a Neil Adams cover, so checks a couple boxes there.
Yeah, I see. Frustrated said he had a chance to get this book for $75 in 1998. What kind of condition was it in? Frustrated, if I could ask. So, and I hope you're able to get one at some point in time, even if it wasn't for 75.
So they're out there.
James
said, "Hey, he wants it, but just not a 9.8 copy." Hey, I hope you get a 9.8, James.
I think mine's like a 3.5.
Do you guys think we'll see John Stewart and James Gunn DCU universe?
I don't know. I think Warner Brothers kind of has this old guard mentality of wanting their big five characters, their Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, to basically be those icons without too much variation. So I don't know if Jon Stewart will ever truly, even if he's brought in, I don't think he will be viewed as what a whole generation views him as, the singular foremost Green Lantern. I think there's a television show they're going to do, but it's him and Hal Jordan together, as kind of a True Detectives type show, which kind of emphasizes the fact that he's not the Green Lantern, but there's, for many people who grew up watching the Justice League Unlimited cartoon series, he's their Green Lantern. He's who they view as Green Lantern. It's this old guard that still keeps pushing Hal Jordan unnecessarily, in my opinion.
Yeah. Me personally, I think that TV show is kind of a little slight to him. I think it's kind of, like you said, pushing him to the background a little bit. Especially, it's going to be a detective show that kind of takes away from the adventure sides and seeing their full potential and powers and everything. But I have high hopes, and I think this book has a lot of room to grow still. So I highly recommend anyone adding it up while you can, especially before this whole DCU era kicks off. DC books generally are a lot more affordable than Marvel books. A lot of people kind of glance over them. So I would say this one right here probably is DC's, as far as Black characters go, it's probably the most expensive. So you got a little wiggle room there too still.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention, Paul, this is not a flex at all, but I have one that's raw, but it's either a 9.6 or 9.8. I don't know until
It's
I get
not
graded.
flex, but it's a 9.6 or 9.8. How's
It's also a reprint. So
anyway,
And
next.
and they recently did just drop a line of reprints, so there's tons of 9.8. You can get a 9.8 reprint right now.
And there's a foil. There's a foil as well, right?
Yep.
Foil reprint.
40, $50. You get a very affordable, clean one to hang on the wall, display everything.
Yeah. So Frustrated said the one he had a chance to buy was probably an 8.5. Great.
That's something I want to talk about. Sometimes some collectors frown upon the facsimiles. I love the facsimiles, particularly just as what Mike just said. If you want to decorate your wall, at your home with a bunch of classic, hard to get books, get the facsimiles and hang those bad boys up just for art purposes.
Yeah,
for love of the hobby. I got no problems with that,
especially with sun and everything and light.
Right.
These
really
right
valuable
here,
books are dangerous to put up.
Yeah, like so these books behind me on purpose, I have UV protecting light bulbs. All my windows in this room are blacked out. So the only lights you see now is just from the camera and my ring. But usually when it's just stored, it's pitch black down here and no light. So, and then I rotate them quick enough that they're not just always up. So.
And we have in our chat a Green Lantern Jon Stewart writer, Mr. Jeffrey Thorne. How's it going?
Hey, well,
what's up, Jeff?
So
he says, saying, I'm sure will be returned to the. I think it's in reference to your question about whether or not Jon Stewart will show up in the James Gunn universe. He'll show up, but he's going to be relegated to the backfield. I don't think he's going to be viewed. I don't think he'll be the only Green Lantern. There will be Hal Jordan as well.
We have hopes.
So. Let me not say what I really want to say, but that's what I think.
Yeah. And then James Tomlinson saying the new series and previous series by Jeffrey Thorne is dope. Definitely upgrade in his powers. So there we go. So just quickly before we go to the next book, once again, want to remind everybody we are actually on the Super Slabs channel today. You got Super Slabs on the top of the screen here, Mike Carson, and we also are simulcasting to the Black Comic Lords channel. So if you haven't already, click through that link to Super Slabs Comics. This is actually his first live show. He's done a few other pre-recorded, but this is his first. So Paul and I have the honor of being the first to join him on a live stream.
Hey, I
Make sure you join his page. Subscribe. I see Jay Winston. Not a fan of facsimiles at all.
I wonder why is that?
Because he gets the real deal, I guess. Yeah.
Let us know in the comments why, Jay.
Yeah, frustrated. I agree with you. I mean, I get really nervous putting things on the wall if it's in a room with a lot of light in it. So I don't even though I had UV protected picture frames, I don't even know if I put them up then either. So, Mike, do you have sunlight in your room there?
None at all. All the windows are blacked off. There's not an ounce of light that comes into this room. So
okay, I hate to go on screen with you one day and see all your comics faded. That'll be sad.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I rotate them, and then all the rest of my books are stored in boxes in the dark as well. So
yeah, that's what's up, James. All right, ready to go to the next one?
Yep.
All right.
This one right here was a shocker to me. The only villain on the list at number 8, we got Avengers 62, first appearance of M'Baku. I think this one was based off a lot of recent success from the Black Panther film and everything. A lot of people resonated with this character a lot. But this one was a CGC 9.8 in Heritage Auction on April 9th, 2022, with a record sale of $19,200. Big boy book out here. Like I said, the highest selling black villain of all time. So you got to respect that. And the only villain to make this top 10 list, too. So
wow.
Very, very respectful.
That's context is everything.
Like I said, I think it's highly tied to the Black Panther film. And I thought it would actually be a totally different book. But yeah, this one knocked it out, man. I can't knock it at all. A lot of people resonate to Killmonger, but doesn't have the high grades like this to get the sales. And I want to say his highest grade, it came in around like 9,600 for that Jungle Action 6. So this one actually took the cake on it.
That is shocking. If I was a betting man, I would have sworn Jungle Action 6 would have had it over this one.
Jungle Action 6 and the 9.8 actually sold for 9,500. So
wow.
I have to think this one's just is pure timing. I mean, you can look at the sale date. I'm guessing it was just before Wakanda Forever, or it was when we were still in the rumor period of Wakanda Forever, and people were talking about who's going to be Black Panther, right? So
yeah.
And
this one also has Black Panther on the cover too, so I think that one plays a big part. Plus, it's an Avengers book, so people out there who are like complete like series and everything like that. So this sells to a wider audience, I would think.
All right, James, you have a 9.0 and 2 raw copies. That's nice. And Jay Winston, here's the reason for not liking facsimiles.
I feel like facsimiles are like dating the beautiful girl's ugly sister just because you. Well, that's the whole point, bro. you can't get the one that you want, so you settle. Not everyone's got the funds to afford some of these books, but they shouldn't feel that they can't have a copy that they can look at and hold themselves.
Here's a good question from Austin. He's asking about 1977 Black Panther #1. I guess he's thinking maybe that one would have been a high value 9.8 sale as well.
We'll see if we can find a value on that one for the show.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll keep going and we'll see if Mike or I can find it. Ready to go to the next one?
Yep.
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
All right.
Oh man, it's your book, man.
That's my book.
Yeah. Coming in at number 7, we have Strange Tales 169 at a CGC 9.8. This one right here shocked me with a golden high record for 27,000. I'm not sure exactly if that includes any buyer premiums or fees. I couldn't find that info. So if anybody out there can update this for us, we're trying to keep a nice documented list for collectors out there. And the main purpose of all this, I know these prices are, of highest grades and everything, the highest sales and everything, but it's still nice to know that you have some books, even in a lower grade, that are some of the highest sold books of all time. So, and I also want to add that this one right here is one of the top 200 bronze all-time selling books of all time, and that's including any other category out there. So that's a nice.
You mean when you say all-time selling, you mean in terms of the volume that sold or
no,
the
as far
value?
as value. Sorry, all these
Okay.
prices and everything we're talking about is value, just not volume right now, because we all know Spawn is knocking everything out the park as far as that's concerned.
Yep.
We once asked Derek who was his favorite comic character of all time, because Derek hasn't collected as long as many of us, and he said this is his favorite character.
Yeah. I like Brother Voodoo. I also like the cover too. I like the color choice of this one.
It really stands out. This is a brilliant cover.
I think
it's Dean Colin, right, who did this cover?
Yeah, and I think this book has survived the test of time a little bit. You haven't had any MCU chatter that could have, sometimes casting the person that they select, sometimes the actual performance on film. Lots of different variations have come into why, movies or TV shows have made books go up and down. And I think this one being untouched has kept it pretty standard, pretty steady right here. So.
Yeah, Kofi's saying surprising. I don't think Brother Voodoo was a big character. I guess it depends on when the sale took place, because there have been ongoing rumors that we would have Mr. Drum in a movie, and even his brother was in Doctor Strange.
Dr. Drum, thank you very much.
Dr. Drum, yes, thank you for the correction there. So, you're right, but it all depends on when the sale took place, and if it took place, and I'm pretty sure it did, during the Marvel days, then that would be the reason why. Sorry, the MCU when it was in full swing, that would be the reason why.
He literally should have showed up in the Marvels movie. He was kind of his brother showed up in the first Doctor Strange movie. He should have showed up in Multiverse of Madness. Didn't show up there. In the Marvels movie, they hired Shamir Anderson to play an untitled role, which was highly rumored to be. I'm sorry, that was Mr. Marvel, but or Blue Marvel, but he definitely should have showed up in a Multiverse of Madness. There was no reason for him not to.
Yeah,
I got high hopes that he still might take over. That was the rumors, at least, that he was going to take over for Doctor Strange after the fact and carry on that torch. I couldn't find the exact date for this sale. So again, if anyone out there can pin down the exact date, that would definitely help us catalog these things.
Yeah, and there's some other comments too about Strange Academy. So
that's a great series.
Yeah, and that's gonna it has big time legs, both in print and on the screen. So
Strange Academy is a great book, and I like his look in that it's a series. I hope Hasbro releases a action figure of that version of him.
I think Strange Academy is a good investment book right now. Kind of reminds me of like a giant size X-Men where it has multiple characters appearing. It's pretty affordable now. There's lots of clean copies out for people who can add to their collection for years to come. That I think we'll see a lot of those characters, in multiple stories down the line. So.
As popular as the X-Men 97 cartoon has been, I think Strange Academy as an animated series would have a lot of legs to it. I hope Disney Plus decides to do something with that.
And it was a comment too that asked about Black Panther 1 1977. Just a quick brief search. The couple sales that I could find on highs were around $1,800 in the 9.8, and that was August 23rd, 2020 for a 9.8, and this was actually Stan Lee's signature series. So in 2020, I think we got a little bit of boom after that. So chances are that we might have seen a higher sale. So
yeah,
anyone else?
I'm looking on cover price, and I see a high sale of $4,191 in April of 2021.
Okay,
for 9.8 of Black Panther #1.
Right during the boom. So
yeah. I do have two. Back to Strange Tales 169. I do have two copies. One is a 9.2, and the other is an 8.5. So
I think I'm
my 8.5. You look at the front, it looks like a 9.6. Just so happens the back has a glitch on it. So
I have no comment on that flex.
It's not a flex. It's just sharing some information, Paul.
It's a soft little flex right there.
Thank you, Mike. Just call it what it is.
Gordon with the key point about facsimiles. You can read them with no worries. So, absolutely. All right. Ready to move to the next one?
Yeah, let's keep it. Of course, everyone knows about this Modern Key. It's probably the newest book on here as far as moderns are concerned. So we have Ultimate Fallout 4, the Dukovich variant, coming in at a CGC 9.8. This one sold on a Heretic auction January 12th, 2023, for a record sale of $43,200.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah,
Crazy
this is definitely
insane.
at the peak right here.
Yes, yes. Of course, this book has dropped significantly in the last year or so. I want to say the last recorded sales were down to about 26,000, if I ain't mistaken. But for a modern book, I mean, that costs you $3.99. I mean, 25,000 is still an incredible price to hold for a modern book.
Even Jeffrey Thorne's called you out there.
Yeah.
Stop fronting.
Yeah.
What are you guys' opinions on the second print of this book? Because I have the second print. I mean, I have the original, but I also have the second print. The second print is the one where Miles lifts up his mask, and Sarah Pichelli, the co-creator of the character, is the one who did the artwork on that. What do y'all think about the second print?
Derek?
I like the second print. It actually has a lower. There are fewer of those printed than the first print.
That's exactly
it also has Miles Morales' face too. So I like it. Some people don't care about second prints at all. I'm actually a person that actually likes second print books if they're not highly printed.
Is it the one where he's standing in front of the Ultimate Fallout name, or is it the other cover? Like
it's all white background, and it's just
one.
a headshot with him lifting up his mask like this.
I recall it getting a lot of flack.
There's two of them. Then there's the all white background one, and then there's the other one.
He's standing in front of the Ultimate Fallout. That's the one I recall.
Yeah.
That's the one I have. I have that one as the second print. I never got the other one. I kind of missed the price point on it, and I just kind of let it go after that. But the other one, a lot of people were confused about because they didn't know which one was the first or second print or whatever. So I think that's why the other one kind of took a little bit more forefront as being the second print. One you're talking about, Paul.
Yeah,
I'm trying to pull up both of them here. Hold on.
Gordon says he thinks the all white background is a third print.
So, really?
Yeah, I thought it was a little different. Yeah. The second one is him standing, and on the first one, his face is behind the Ultimate Fallout. Yeah. The second one, he's standing in front, and you can see it in the background.
Right.
Here, okay, all right. On Go Collect, that one's coming up as second print, the one with the white background, in addition to the other Ultimate Fallout background too.
So I wonder if they were just variants that were released at the same time or something.
I think they were. The one with the white background, it was given away in combination with other books, I think, as an enticer, right? So yeah.
See, Jay wants to say like the second and third prints more than facsimiles. Yeah, I can see that. I have a love-hate with tons of variants, though. That's my problem. I think it diminishes the book to a certain extent or whatever. So I'm cool with maybe like a second print, but once you start getting this third, fourth, fifth prints, I think it kind of. But then you got everyone buying, basically the same book multiple times just for the cover. But that's just my personal preference.
Yeah, there was some recent information provided. I think it came from I can't remember if it was Diamond or CGC, but I think there are several more of these that exist than were previously known. So just do your homework before you go off and put a lot of money into this book. I'm not trying to shade it or anything, but I don't want anybody to throw more money than you should at a book also.
Personally, I have The first copy. I know there's
Yeah,
tons of them out there, slabbed or whatever. I have two signed by Mark Bagley, one for
nice.
each of my sons one day. And then also there is a newsstand variant out there, and there's I've seen far less of those than I have of the actual
That's a good
variant
one.
here. So
Yeah,
I think that one will eventually surpass as far as value go with this one as well.
I would tend to agree with you. There might be a lot fewer of the newsstand than there is of this one. All right, let's go to the next one.
All right.
This is a
Number
book I still don't have in my collection in
ah
any grade.
tragedy. That is, should that be shame?
I
Black
feel
Comic
shame.
Lord shame right there.
I do feel some shame. I do. I do have the facsimile though.
There you go. Hey, that's a step in the right direction. So coming in at number 5, we have Giant Size X-Men #1. First appearance of Storm, and I think that's really the only thing that matters to me. CGC 9.8 Heritage Auction, June 17th, 2021, for a record sale of 72,000. And I just want to note that the buyer premium is included. The buyer premium is a 20% tax or add-on that Heritage adds on to sales. So knock off 20%, and that'll give you the actual sale price. So take off 14,400. That'll give you a more accurate price of what this book is.
Yeah.
You know,
So
as an alternative to getting either a reprint or a facsimile of the book, if you can't afford it, what I would suggest is getting Classic X-Men #1. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be, someone please correct me if I am. I think Classic X-Men #1, which came out May 27th, 1986, might be the first reprinting of this book, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a way to get a copy of the book without it being a facsimile or a second or third print, because there are no second or third prints of that book. There's just newsstand and direct sale.
What do you see? So when you look at this book, what character first comes to mind?
Well, Storm, obviously.
I have
Well,
an
I shouldn't
ongoing.
say obviously, because there's also Wolverine and the rest of the X-Men. But
I have an ongoing debate with a fellow black comic collector of mine. He seems to think that Wolverine is the one that pushes this, but I argue that Storm is the reason why most people go after this book.
yeah, I think so. I think so, because Wolverine has his 2 books. He has his Hulk 180 and 181. If you're truly a Wolverine fan, now those are the books that you want. I mean, this would be, for all intents and purposes, be what, his 4th appearance? Because I think there's another.
Third.
Wasn't there another appearance after Hulk 181?
I don't. I think this was the next one, right? Unless you
This
count Foom.
is the 3rd.
I think this counts as his 3rd.
Unless you count Foom.
I don't, but it's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam,
was gonna.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. I know I showed this to Mike earlier, but Paul, did you see the 9.9 that got graded in one of these in the past 2 weeks?
No, I never even heard of a 9.9 in this book.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
It just got graded recently. A lot of controversy out there. Everyone's nitpicking the book to find every little spot they can to say it might be a fluke grade. But hey, shout out to whoever got it, because you just hit the lotto for sure.
Yeah, that'll be a huge jump in price. If this is a 9.8 at 72, how much do y'all think a 9.9 will go for?
That book's going to hit the all-time record. It's going to top every book on this list for sure, especially with X-Men 97 success is going with right now.
Yeah, now would probably be the best time to sell it.
Yeah. And they recently just got it back. I don't know. I don't know what you would do with that if it was in my hands. I might list it. I don't know.
Yeah. Just a quick reminder. We are on the Super Slabs channel, but dual casting also to Black Comic Lords. So Black Comic Lords watchers, make sure you take the opportunity to subscribe to Super Slabs Comics channel. just click the link, subscribe. We got Mike here, Mr. Super Slabs.
I definitely would appreciate it. And I want to answer Adam C. He said, what about Adam Legend of Blue Marvel #1 and the 9.8? What's that going for? So that book has actually had a significant drop. During the pandemic, it was selling upwards of 1,000 or more. The recent best deal, crazy deal I've seen was on Elite Comics, and someone got a whole 9.8 set for $1,100. The whole set, all 9.8s.
Wow.
Blue Marvel #1. That was on Elite Comics within the last few months. I missed out on that sale. Salty about it because I actually need to finish out the whole set. But right now is the perfect time to go after Adam Legend of Blue Marvel because limited run, definitely a dope book that I think everyone is after. So
I think that's still a really good price. 1,100 for the whole, run.
1,100 for the whole set is a steal, especially when individual books are still listed for $300-400 for the rest of the set, and you'll probably pay about $750 or more or so for a 9.8 for most sellers on eBay and everything. So definitely a book to have. So. And right, James, he said he does. That was his third appearance in the X-Men '94. Is his fourth? Just that.
Okay.
All right. Coming in at #4 is everyone's favorite Captain America. Captain America 117 CGC 9.8 on a Heritage auction September 8th, 2022, with a record sale of 78,000, and that's including the buyer's premium. So again, if you didn't hear me the first time, Heritage auction adds a buyer premium. That's their percentage that they get on the sale, basically, and it's usually around 20%. So, but a book that old and the 9.8, definitely a beautiful cover. Got the old school Falcon uniform on there. Love it. I want to say that's, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's Herschel, one of Herschel's favorite characters outside of outside of Meteor Man. But
Herschel is the champion that Falcon is not, or nor has he ever been, a sidekick to Captain America.
Hey, he's fighting a good fight. I see him in all the comments and all the chats defending Falcon like no other. So
he'll reference the fact that Steve Rogers constantly says, "You're my partner. You're my partner," and Falcon's like, "No, I'm not really." And Harlem hates me. They think I'm a sellout, and I ain't got no real powers. It's kind of sucks. But
I mean, personally,
he's not a sidekick.
I'm a Falcon fan. I don't know. I think for
I got no problems with dude. I mean, I think he's a character. I hate the fact that they're pushing this whole Captain America narrative.
Agreed.
I think the better option was to simply upgrade Falcon.
Agreed.
Every other character gets upgraded. Why couldn't they upgrade their first African American superhero, a literal legend in his own right, non-legacy character? Upgrade the dude, not give him someone else. It's a thing.
I agree. I think personally, if they would have pushed him more as just Falcon, I think people would have supported him more.
Yeah.
Personally, I think though, as far as content is concerned, I think the Captain America Winter Soldier, the series, I think it was the best piece of work that they've done in the live action TV series.
Yeah.
My personal opinion. I know a lot of people initially, didn't like it, and I think that was partly the suit and everything, but go back and give it a look, and you let me know what you think. I think it's excellent piece of work.
All right.
I'm surprised we didn't get a flex right there from Derek to say, hey, got this.
Derek, you don't have this book?
Which one? Fantastic Four 52 or the Captain America?
No, Captain America 117.
No, actually I don't. I do not have that one.
Not even a facsimile?
I might have a facsimile. I might have a facsimile in 9.6 or 9.8.
It's time to add it. That book is very affordable. You can get that book at a steal right now. Coming in at #3, we have Fantastic Four 52 CGC 9.8 Heritage auction on February 18th, 2016. Record sale of $83,650, and that's including the buyer's premium. And I happen to think that if a 9.8 hit the market anytime soon, I think this one for sure would catapult all the way to the top spot for sure.
This is a book I bought a decade ago in a small bookshop in Atlanta for $20.
Nice.
And I had the opportunity to buy two of them, and I didn't because I was quote unquote over my budget, and kicking myself right now because my copy is kind of beat up and needs to be upgraded. I have a very low grade copy of this book. I have it, but it's not the quality that I would like.
I'm a big fan of low grade is better than no grade.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Half my collection's based on that concept.
And like I said, especially with a Fantastic 452, it kind of checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
Not only is it the first appearance of Black Panther, it's in a perfect run right there, leading into Galactus and everything that's going to be coming into the MCU here. I feel like perfect book for every Black comic book collector out there. So.
Yes, Phil would say, don't talk to me about Black Panther unless you have this book in your collection.
I agree. I will add that I think so. This one was trending pretty high, and then it actually took a dip off of Black Panther 2 movie release, and I think that was rightfully because of a lot of people were for recasting, a lot of people were against it. Whichever side of it you stand on, I still tell you guys to go out and support this book. I think it should be a must-have in everyone's collection, regardless of what Marvel does. I think eventually they'll recast him. I think they'll reboot the system and everything like that. So, I know,
how many 9.8s are on census? Do you know?
Not sure.
I'll check that while we're going. Okay.
Try to fire Paul up there with the recast there.
You're not gonna pull me in, sir. I've gotten enough heat from the rest of the Black comic lords on my feelings on that.
Hey, I got cussed out a few times in chats about it, so it's what it is.
All right, either way, for number.
Yep, let's keep it moving.
We good for number 2?
Yeah.
By the way, I think we have set a record for any show that Paul is on to only spend like 3 minutes talking about Black Panther and then to move on.
See, this is
a record right there.
This is what I'm talking about.
I tried to entice. So
the Black Panther lords, I'm gonna make it a thing if you keep pushing.
Hey, so coming in at number 2, we have Luke Cage Hero for Hire number 1 in the CGC 9.8.
Now this is my book.
This should be everybody's favorite book right here. But this one sold on Heretic Auction September 11th, 2022, with a record sale of 102,000, and that also includes the buyer premium. This one actually held the record for, or actually was the first highest selling all-time Black character for only a year or so, but definitely a shocker. I think this same book resold recently for, I think it went the second time around, it went for about 64,000 plus the buyer premium. So definitely took a little drop, but 64,000 for a book this old is still a great achievement. And I think everyone who owns this book should definitely covet it because same way you said, as far as historical references, I think Luke Cage is one of the most historical characters in Marvel history. So.
This is my birthday book, man. This came out in June 1972 when I was born. Had to add this to my collection on that value alone. Although Falcon is the first African American superhero at Marvel Comics, for many, this is the greatest. I mean, Marvel was pumping him out as being the greatest Black superhero of all time. Is what the advertisement says. What Herschel keeps trolling on. This is a popular character, man. Whereas Falcon would be chided in the streets for being kind of a sellout because of his affiliation with Captain America, Luke Cage had a completely different affect in Harlem. I mean, people loved him. He was of the streets. He was from the people and for the people. So he had a whole another vibe to him, a whole another level to him. And the fact that it was kind of a blaxploitation character, that had that other layer to it for the time period. But more importantly is how long his run went, right? Like this series morphed into the Power Man series, and that morphed into Power Man and Iron Fist. And when you add all that up as one long series, I mean, they went how many hundred how many cases of 100 how many issues?
Definitely over 100.
Yeah, it was definitely over 100. I mean, that was huge for the time. Black Panther didn't have that. Falcon didn't have that. This is the first dude to do it at Marvel, so respect to him on that alone.
And also the first black character with his own name on the cover. So
yeah,
gotta respect that.
So Frustrated saying he found this slab for 250. What was the grade on the slab for 250? That's the question. And then James is saying 8.5 copy of Luke Cage for him and 2 raws. Yeah, that black. You're right. The black cover, it definitely shows creases very easily. So
very easy. It's hard to get this in a high grade.
Yeah, I'm lacking. Yeah. I have a 4.5 and a 5.5 signature series that I've been neglecting to upgrade. So eventually, my plan is to get at least a 9.2, 9.4, hopefully. So
I think I have this in a mid-grade raw copy.
Yeah.
But I have it.
It's an excellent book to have. I think anyone should add to their collection, and right now is the perfect time to add it. So go out there, and he has tons of supporting cast out there. Anyone didn't like the show or did like the show, I was a fan. Hopefully, they bring him into the MCU. We'll see.
So to answer the question, there are 6 9.8s on census for the Fantastic Four number 52, first appearance of T'Challa.
Okay. I don't see anyone selling them anytime soon.
No, I'm pretty sure not. And yeah. And just to recap, at the beginning of the show, we hit number 1. So we'll go back to number 1.
Might as well touch it again.
There we go.
It says all-time high selling book, Tomb of Dracula number 10, CGC 9.9. And of course, that's definitely why the 9.9 there. And this is one of the rare ones that sold on Comic Link auction. And they do actually charge a 3% fee. So if that adds into your account there, so a little lower than 106,000, but pretty much right on board. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think about that film? Is it going to come out ever?
That's not the right question. The question is, do you want it to come out?
At this point,
given all the problems it's had with it changing writers and directors and actors, and then rumors that he's not even necessarily the star, they're going to make his daughter the star. Do we really want this movie to come out?
At this point, I hope they just move on. Personally, it's been too much up and down. It can't help. Like, just please move on and just leave it be. I think this book will fare far better. They just move on from that project.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have very high expectations on a quality film being done on this at this point. There seems to be too many hands in the pot trying to make this movie fit whatever type of plan certain people have for the film.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes made some great films. And if you see interviews with him, and he talks about the third film and why it came out the way he did, because hands got in the pot trying to make their own type of thing. And that seems to be history repeating itself before this new reboot even comes out. part and parcel of that, I think, is probably Marvel Studios trying to redefine itself. And they spent so much time trying to be edgy and cool by having people do these films and these television shows that aren't into comics, that it's starting to bite them in the butt. And, creative differences are happening.
It's starting to show across the board.
Yeah, to answer your question, Mike, I do want to see the movie, but only after Marvel gets his act together. So I don't want it to be the guinea pig. I want it to come out after they figured out what the new formula needs to be to work. So, Cliff on Comics, hey, thanks for joining. Good to have you here. He says the algorithm brought him here. And,
Really?
yes, a 9.9 Tomb of Dracula. This is old school 9.9, not not the new 9.9s that are a lot easier to get, supposedly. So,
no way I would crack that for a new case ever.
Oh, absolutely not. Keep that old case with the old date on it.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, this will be the first film where they actually drop the budget. So I think the budget on this film now is only $100 million.
I don't think you need a huge budget. The first movie that Blade did, that Wesley Snipes did, was wasn't it only like 70 million?
Yeah, but we're talking, that's almost 30 years ago. That was
when I look at Godzilla -1 being made for $17 million, I just can't imagine that budget should be an issue for the film. It's not like it has to be a big super mega special effects film like Avengers Endgame. We're talking Blade. It's in essence a horror film. You can do realistic type of cinematography and special effects instead of doing a whole bunch of CGI. Do prosthetics on the actors. There's all types of things you can do to bring the budget down and still make a quality film. If this movie doesn't do well, I don't think I'm gonna blame it on budget.
Kofi says his movie is still going to come out. I think the problem is they're trying to include his daughter in it. Yeah, I agree. I think that's what Mashallah Ali was having an issue with. Was the majority of the original script was focused around the daughter and not him, and kind of took away. And I guess it didn't have enough action scenes in it. So I'm glad an actor of his quality has actually spoke up and defended the film, and also we'll see. I'm excited still. Either way, I'm definitely going to go watch it, regardless.
Yeah, I'll watch it too.
So, well, there we have it. That was our top 10 highest selling Black comic books of all time. Hopefully, you have some of those in your collection. If not, get out there, get the digging, add them too. I know Paul said he's going to add a giant size X-Men this year. This is his year to add a Storm to his collection. And my main man Derek said he's going to add that Captain America 117. So, like Phil says, hey, you're not a Black comic lord if you don't add them, as well as Fantastic 452.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So everyone who reached out to it was signed in through the Black Comic Lore page. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Please go to Super Slabs Comics, like, subscribe. We're also on IG. I have tons of other content on there already, but this is actually my first live video. So like and subscribe, please. Leave comments. Let me know what I need to add, what I need to work on. And I appreciate you guys stopping out and taking the time to sit down with us.
Sean Damien Hill just came in at the end. Sean, why are you coming in late, man? You got to hit the notification bell and the subscribe thing. You would have known that we were on. Would have been late.
Yeah,
I'm glad to have you.
Frustrated fan said he got 0. Hey, you can go get a very affordable copy of probably Mount that Ultimate Fallout 4 right now. You could probably get a very affordable copy of that Luke Cage Hero for Hire. And I would say definitely the Avengers 62. I think you could definitely add a low raw of any of those this year. Pretty affordable.
Cliff on Comics loves your wall behind you, man.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Can you zoom in on that a bit?
There we go.
So this right here is it's a full 9.8 run minus of static, the whole original run. I'm actually missing 3 9/8s. I have 3 9/6s, 27, 38, and 21. There are, I want to say, 2 or 3 of 27 and 28 in the 9.8, but 21 there aren't any 9.8. So hopefully one day I'll have a full 9/8 run, but for the time being, I only need 2 more, I guess, to complete the run. But still, overall, took me about 3 years. A lot of mowed lawns and dancing for old ladies out there. So did what I had to do to make it happen. So I would say this is probably the pride and joy of my collection right here. So.
Cliff, he is very humble. Mike has the greatest static collection in the entire world.
Hey, I appreciate that.
I don't even think that's a stretch.
I seen that they can get Shuri first appearance as a new collector. Oh yeah, that book is definitely
Dropped way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shuri first appearance, the Moon Girl first appearance. One of those went for like $70 in a 9.8 a few weeks ago. Yeah. Crazy low prices right now.
Yeah. That Shuri you can get for under $200 in the 9.8.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a great book to add, because I mean, eventually in 20 years, all these kids that grew up watching these films, they're going to become collectors one day, and they're going to start buying books, and be great to have some of these books, in the long run, to pass down to your kids and stuff like that. So.
Right. Ironheart's another one that's dropped in price a lot.
Yep. Definitely affordable. She's going to have her own series coming out. She'll be in more films.
Now's the best time to buy Ironheart before a trailer drops for her television show.
Moon Girl currently has a cartoon animated series on Disney Plus,
which is excellent, by the way.
Very excellent. So, yeah.
All right.
Well, hey, again, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Free comic book game. Stop by the page, Super Slabs Comics. Like and subscribe. Paul, Derek, I appreciate you guys bringing me on here. You got to do this again sometime.
No, we appreciate you having us on your show, man.
Hey,
so absolutely, anytime.
You throw up the cap, we'll always show up.
Hey, that's what's up.
Like the Avengers.
And we started this show. I bet most people watching the show just didn't get a chance to see the intro. Do you mind if we end the show by playing your intro again?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Good seeing you all.
Big Mike.